The rain-slicked streets of New York City shimmered under the neon glow. But for Elias Carter, the world was a blur of chaos and heartbreak. He sprinted through the crowd, his sneakers splashing in puddles, his heart pounding not from the run, but from the sting of betrayal. Just hours ago, he'd caught his boyfriend of 2 years, Jamie, with someone else, lips locked, promises shattered. Elias's breath hitched as he dodged a taxi, his mind replaying Jamie's casual shrug. "It's not a big deal," that cut deeper than any knife. He needed air, space, anything to drown out the ache. The city's pulse thrummed around him, honking horns, chattering pedestrians, but it couldn't silence the storm inside. He turned a corner, head down, and collided hard with a solid figure. Lips met lips. A jolt, electric and disorienting, surged through Elias. He stumbled back, eyes wide, staring at a man in a crisp navy suit, his sharp features softened by the streetlights. The stranger's green eyes locked onto his, a flicker of shock mirrored in them. Elias's cheeks burned. "I'm so sorry," he stammered, heart racing for a new reason. "It's fine," the man said, his voice low, steady, but his gaze lingered a beat too long. He adjusted his tie, a faint flush on his cheeks. "You okay?" Elias nodded, barely processing the question. His lips tingled, and then something stranger. A voice, not his own, echoed in his mind. "Who is this guy? Why does my chest feel like it's on fire?" Clear, vivid, like a radio tuned to someone else's thoughts. Elias froze. The man's thoughts. He was hearing them. He backed away, pulse hammering. "Yeah, I'm good. Sorry again." He turned, nearly tripping over his own feet, and bolted into the crowd. The voice faded, but the weight of it clung to him. What the hell just happened? Elias didn't sleep that night. He sat on his lumpy couch in his Brooklyn apartment, replaying the collision. The kiss, accidental, brief, had unlocked something impossible. Mind reading. It sounded like a cheap sci-fi flick, but those thoughts weren't his. He tested it the next morning at a coffee shop, brushing past a barista. "God, I hate this job." The voice was hers, unmistakable. He nearly dropped his latte. By noon, he was a mess of nerves, avoiding eye contact with strangers to keep their thoughts out. He needed answers, but the only clue was the man in the suit. Elias didn't even know his name, just the sharp cut of his jaw and the way his eyes had held him, like they saw more than they should. He headed to his job at a small bookstore in Manhattan, hoping routine would ground him. The store was quiet, the scent of old paper calming his nerves. But as he shelved books, a shadow fell over him. He turned, and there was the man from last night, standing by the counter, a leather briefcase in hand. Elias's stomach flipped. "You," the man said, his voice carrying a mix of surprise and something warmer. "Didn't expect to see you here." Elias swallowed. "Yeah, I work here." "You, looking for something." The man's thoughts slipped into his mind. "He's even cuter in daylight." "Focus. Nathan." Elias's breath caught. Nathan. His name was Nathan. "I'm picking up a book I ordered," Nathan said, his eyes scanning Elias like he was the book in question. "Nathan Reed. It's under my name." Elias fumbled with the computer, his fingers shaky. Nathan Reed. The name sounded vaguely familiar, but he couldn't place it. As he handed over the Buka dense biography on some tech mogul, Nathan's fingers brushed his. Why does he look so nervous? Nathan's thoughts were loud, curious, tinged with concern. Elias pulled back, heart pounding. "Here you go. Have a nice day." He turned away, pretending to organize a shelf. But Nathan didn't leave. Hey, Nathan said softly. About last night. You sure you're okay? Elias forced a smile. Just a bad day. I'm fine. But Nathan's thoughts betrayed him. He's lying. Something's wrong. Elias's chest tightened. He needed to get away from this guy. From whatever this was. That night, Elias Googled Nathan Reed. His jaw dropped. Nathan was the CEO of Reed Tech, a rising star in New York's tech scene, known for his ruthless ambition and guarded personal life. 30 years old, openly gay, and way out of Elias's league. The accidental kiss was already a fluke. Now it was a cosmic joke. Elias tried to push it out of his mind, but Nathan kept showing up. A week later, he was back at the bookstore, claiming he needed another book. He's here again. Why am I so nervous? Nathan's thoughts were a mix of intrigue and frustration, and Elias hated how they made his heart race. They talked small, cautious exchanges about books, the city, anything safe. Nathan was sharp, witty, but there was a softness under his polished exterior. Elias caught himself smiling, then stopped. He couldn't get involved. Not with the CEO, not with this mind-reading curse tying them together. But Nathan's thoughts were relentless. He's different. I want to know him. Elias kept his distance, but each encounter chipped away at his resolve. Nathan started coming by daily, lingering longer, asking about Elias's life. Elias dodged, afraid of what he might hear if he let himself get too close. One evening, as rain poured outside, Nathan stayed past closing. You're avoiding me, he said, his voice gentle but firm. Why? Elias's throat tightened. Because I hear you. Because I'm scared of what this means. But he couldn't say that. Instead, he mumbled, I'm just not good with people right now. Nathan stepped closer, his eyes searching. I don't want to push him, but I can't stop thinking about him. Elias's heart pounded. He wanted to run, but his feet wouldn't move. The rain battered the bookstore's windows, a rhythmic drum that matched the chaos in Elias's chest. Nathan stood too close, his presence overwhelming. His thoughts a quiet hum in Elias's mind. He's scared, but I don't know why. Elias gripped the counter, torn between bolting and leaning into the warmth of Nathan's gaze. I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable, Nathan said, his voice low, almost drowned by the storm outside. But I feel like there's something between us. Am I wrong? Elias's breath hitched. He wanted to deny it, to laugh it off. But Nathan's thoughts were too loud. Please don't run. The sincerity in them was a knife to his defenses. You don't even know me, Elias said, his voice barely above a whisper. Then let me, Nathan replied, stepping closer. His hand hovered near Elias's, not touching, but the air between them crackled. I've never felt like this before. Elias's heart stuttered. He wanted to believe it was just the mind reading, some glitch tying their emotions together. But the pull was deeper, rawer. He turned away, busying himself with closing tasks. You should go. It's late. Nathan lingered, then nodded, leaving with a quiet. See you tomorrow. His thoughts trailed after him. I'm not giving up. The next week was torture. Nathan's visits became a ritual, each one laced with tension and unspoken questions. Elias tried to focus on work, on rebuilding his life post-Jamie. But Nathan's thoughts invaded his mind warm, curious, sometimes vulnerable. He's hiding something, but I want to understand. Elias hated how much he wanted to listen. One afternoon, Nathan arrived with coffee, 2 cups, and a shy smile. Thought you might need this, he said, setting one down. Elias stared at the cup, then at Nathan. He's so guarded, but I can't stop trying. The gesture was small, but it cracked something in Elias. He took the coffee, their fingers brushing. A spark shot through him, and Nathan's thoughts flooded in. God. His touch feels like home. Elias pulled back, spilling coffee on the counter. Sorry. Clumsy. He grabbed a rag, avoiding Nathan's eyes. He couldn't do this. Not when every touch amplified the connection, made Nathan's feelings louder, made his own heart betray him. That night, Elias walked home. The city's noise a dull roar compared to the chaos in his head. He'd sworn off love after Jamie. But Nathan was different, steady, kind, despite his CEO polish. And the mind reading. It wasn't just Nathan's thoughts. Elias felt his own emotions shifting, like Nathan's presence was rewriting his heart. He stopped at a park, sitting on a bench under a flickering street lamp. The memory of the kiss replayed, accidental, fleeting, but electric. What if it wasn't just chance? What if it meant something? He shook his head, trying to shove the thought away. But Nathan's voice echoed, I want to know him. The next day, Elias's resolve wavered. Nathan showed up with a buka-worn copy of The Great Gatsby, one of Elias's favorites. Thought you might like this, Nathan said, his smile tentative. He mentioned loving this book. Hope I got it right. Elias's chest tightened. He hadn't told Nathan that. Had he? Thanks, Elias said, his voice soft. They talked longer that day. About books, dreams, the city's hidden corners. Nathan's thoughts were a constant undercurrent. He's opening up. Don't mess this up. Elias wanted to hate how much it mattered, but he couldn't. Then, disaster. A customer, an older man with a sharp tongue, stormed into the store, berating Elias over a missing order. Elias tried to stay calm, but the man's thoughts were venomous. Useless kid. Probably some queer slacker. The words hit like a punch, and Elias froze, his face burning. Nathan stepped in, his voice cold and commanding. That's enough. Leave. The man scoffed, but backed off under Nathan's glare. Elias's hands shook as he rang up another customer. Nathan's thoughts loud in his mind. No one talks to him like that. The protectiveness made Elias's throat tight. After the store emptied, Nathan lingered. You okay? He asked, his voice softer now. Elias nodded, but his walls were crumbling. Thanks for that. You didn't have to. I wanted to, Nathan said. I'd do anything for him. Elias's heart raced. He couldn't keep running from this. That evening, they walked together to a diner nearby, the air thick with unspoken words. Over greasy fries and milkshakes, Nathan opened up about the pressure of running Reed Tech, the loneliness of his world. Elias listened, his own guard slipping. He shared pieces of his past, Jamie's betrayal, his fear of trusting again. Nathan's thoughts were quiet. Reverent, he's so strong. I wish he saw it. As they left the diner, Nathan stopped under a streetlight, his eyes searching Elias's. I don't know what this is, he said, but I can't stop thinking about you. Elias's breath caught. He means it. The thought was Nathan's, but it echoed his own. He stepped closer, heart pounding. Me neither, he admitted, voice trembling. They stood there, inches apart, the city fading around them. Then Nathan leaned in, and this time, the kiss wasn't an accident. The kiss was fire slow, deliberate, and searing. Elias's hands found Nathan's jacket, gripping tight, as if letting go would unravel him. Nathan's thoughts poured into Elias's mind. This is everything. The intensity of it, the raw want, made Elias dizzy. He pulled back, gasping, his lips tingling like they had that first night. Nathan's eyes were wide, searching, his breath uneven. Elias, He whispered, voice rough. Please don't run again. Elias's heart clenched. He wanted to stay, to lean back into Nathan's warmth. But the mind-reading curse loomed like a shadow. How could he trust this when he heard every thought, every doubt? Two need to go, Elias stammered, stepping back. Nathan's face fell, but he nodded. His thoughts heavy. I scared him. Damn it. Elias turned and walked away, the city's hum swallowing his footsteps. But Nathan's presence lingered like a bruise. The next morning, Elias woke with a headache and a heart full of regret. He'd pushed Nathan away, but the kiss replayed in his mind, vivid and unshakable. At the bookstore, he kept busy, avoiding the door, dreading Nathan's inevitable arrival. But Nathan didn't come. The absence was a punch to the gut. By noon, Elias's phone buzzed a text from an unknown number. It's Nathan. Can we talk? Elias stared at the screen, his thumb hovering. He's giving me space, he realized, catching the faint echo of Nathan's thoughts even from miles away. The connection was growing stronger, and it terrified him. He didn't reply but spent the day distracted, shelving books in the wrong places. A coworker, Sarah, noticed. You okay, Elias? You look like you lost something. Elias forced a smile. Just a rough week. But Sarah's thoughts slipped in. He's heartbroken. Poor guy. Elias flinched. The mind reading was no longer just Nathan, it was everyone. A cacophony of voices he couldn't shut out. That night, he walked to the park again, the same bench under the street lamp. He needed to understand this curse, to control it before it consumed him. Closing his eyes, he focused, trying to block the stray thoughts of passers-by. Too loud. Too much. Then, a familiar voice cut through. I miss him already. Nathan. Elias's eyes snapped open. Nathan stood across the street, hands in his pockets, watching him. He's here. Elias's pulse raced. Nathan crossed the street, his steps hesitant. Didn't mean to stalk you, Nathan said, a half-smile tugging at his lips. I just had a feeling you'd be here. Elias swallowed. How'd you know? Because I can't stop thinking about you. Nathan's thought was clear, unguarded, and it broke something in Elias. I don't know what I'm doing, Elias admitted, voice raw. It's too much. Nathan sat beside him, close but not touching. Then let's figure it out together. I'm not going anywhere. Elias's throat tightened. He wanted to believe it, but the voices in his head, Nathan's, strangers, his own, made trust feel impossible. Over the next few days, they fell into a fragile rhythm. Nathan visited the bookstore, but he kept his distance, giving Elias space. Their conversations were careful, laced with unspoken longing. Elias learned to tune out strangers' thoughts, but Nathan's were always there. Warm and steady, he's worth waiting for. One evening, Nathan invited Elias to a charity gala Read Tech was hosting. No pressure, Nathan said, his eyes hopeful. Please say yes. Elias hesitated, then nodded. Maybe stepping into Nathan's world would help him understand. The gala was a whirlwind of glitz chandeliers, tuxedos, champagne flutes clinking in a Manhattan ballroom. Elias felt out of place in his borrowed suit, but Nathan's hand on his back grounded him. He looks amazing. Nathan's thought was soft, almost reverent, and Elias's cheeks warmed. But the night wasn't easy. Nathan's colleagues whispered, their thoughts sharp. Who's this nobody with Nathan? Is he after his money? Elias clenched his jaw, trying to block them out. Then Jamie appeared, Elias's ex, smirking, arm around a new guy. Look at Elias, clinging to a CEO. Pathetic. Elias froze. the room spinning. Nathan noticed, his hand tightening on Elias's. "You know that guy?" he asked, voice low. "My ex," Elias muttered, his face burning. Nathan's thoughts roared. He heard Elias. "I'll ruin him." The protectiveness was fierce, and Elias didn't know whether to feel safe or scared. "Let's get some air," Nathan said, guiding him to a balcony. The city skyline glittered below, a stark contrast to the storm inside Elias. "You don't have to tell me," Nathan said, "but I'm here." Elias exhaled, the weight of Jamie's betrayal crashing back. He told Nathan everything: the lies, the cheating, the way it shattered his trust. Nathan listened, his thoughts quiet but heavy. He deserves so much better. When Elias finished, Nathan pulled him into a hug, warm and steady. "You're not him," Nathan said softly, "and I'm not going anywhere." The hug lingered, Nathan's warmth seeping into Elias like a lifeline. Under the Manhattan skyline, the world felt smaller, safer, but Elias's mind was a battlefield. Nathan's thoughts were a soft hum. "I'd hold him forever if he let me." Elias pulled back, his heart racing, torn between wanting to stay and needing to run. "Thanks," Elias said, his voice barely steady. "I just need time." Nathan nodded, his eyes full of understanding, but his thoughts betrayed a quiet ache. "I hate seeing him hurt." Elias turned away, the city lights blurring as he fought the urge to lean back into Nathan's arms. Back at the gala, Elias kept his distance from Jamie, but the venomous thoughts of strangers kept slipping through. He doesn't belong here. Nathan could do better. Each one was a needle, pricking at his insecurities. Nathan stayed close, his presence a shield, but Elias felt exposed. Raw. The mind reading, once a curiosity, was now a curse, amplifying every judgment. As the night ended, Nathan drove Elias home in silence. The hum of the car was soothing, but Nathan's thoughts were loud. "I want to fix this for him." Elias stared out the window, wrestling with the urge to confess everything to Kiss. The mind reading, the fear that this connection wasn't real. At his apartment, Nathan walked him to the door. "You don't have to go through this alone," he said, his voice gentle. "I'm falling for him, and it scares me." Elias's breath caught. He wanted to say something, anything, but the words stuck in his throat. "Good night," Elias managed, slipping inside. Alone, he sank to the floor, head in his hands. Nathan's feelings were real. Heard them, but could he trust his own? The next week, Elias threw himself into work, hoping routine would dull the chaos. Nathan's visits tapered off, his thoughts fainter but no less intense. "I'm giving him space, but it's killing me." Elias missed him, more than he wanted to admit. The bookstore felt empty without Nathan's easy smile, his quiet confidence. One rainy afternoon, Sarah cornered him. "You've been a ghost lately." Spill. Her thoughts were kind. "He's hurting. I wish he'd talk." Elias sighed, giving her a half-truth about a complicated friendship. She didn't push, but her advice lingered. Don't let fear win. That night, Elias couldn't sleep. He walked to the park again, the street lamp casting a familiar glow. Nathan was there, sitting on their bench, rain soaking his jacket. "I knew he'd come." Elias's heart skipped. "You're gonna catch a cold," Elias said, sitting beside him. Nathan smiled, rain dripping from his hair. "Worth it if you're here. I can't lose him." The rawness of the thought made Elias's chest ache. He wanted to tell Nathan everything, but fear held him back. Instead, he asked, "Why me? You could have anyone." Nathan's eyes softened. "Because you're real. You don't pretend. even when you're scared. He's everything I didn't know I needed. Elias's throat tightened. He leaned closer, their shoulders brushing. And for once, the mind reading felt like a gift, not a curse. The next day, Nathan invited Elias to his office at Reed Tech, a sleek tower in Midtown. Elias hesitated but went, curious about Nathan's world. The office was all glass and steel, a far cry from the bookstore's cozy chaos. Nathan, in his element, was commanding yet kind, his employees clearly devoted. His thoughts were focused. I want him to see who I am. They talked over lunch in Nathan's office, the city sprawling below. Nathan shared stories of his rise in tech, the sacrifices, the loneliness. Elias opened up about his dreams of writing, his fear of failing. Nathan's thoughts were steady. He's braver than he knows. As they left, a reporter ambushed them outside, cameras flashing. Mr. Reed, who's this? The man's thoughts were predatory. This could be a story. Elias froze, but Nathan stepped in front, his voice icy. No comment. In the car, Nathan apologized. I should have warned you. My life, it's not always private. I don't want to drag him into this. Elias reached for his hand, surprising them both. It's okay, Elias said. I'm not running. Nathan's smile was worth the chaos. That night, Elias dreamed of the kiss, the first one. Accidental. Electric. He woke with a clarity he hadn't felt in weeks. He couldn't keep pushing Nathan away. The mind reading was part of him now. But so was Nathan. He texted Nathan, meet me at the park. 8 p.m. The reply was instant. I'll be there. The park was quiet, the street lamp casting a soft halo over the bench where Elias waited. His heart pounded. Nathan's thoughts already faint but present. He's here. Please let this be okay. Elias clutched his jacket, rehearsing what he'd say. The truth about the mind reading. The fear. The pull he couldn't ignore, it all had to come out. Nathan arrived, his suit traded for a sweater, his face lit with cautious hope. You okay? He asked, sitting close. He's nervous. I hate that I might be. Why? Elias took a deep breath. I need to tell you something. It's going to sound crazy. He recounted the kiss, the mind reading, the voices that started with Nathan and now bled into everyone. Nathan listened, his expression shifting from confusion to awe. His thoughts were a whirlwind. This is wild. But I believe him. You're not running? Elias asked, voice small. Nathan's hand found his, warm and steady. Not a chance. He's incredible, even if this scares me. Elias's chest loosened, relief flooding him. For the first time, the mind reading felt like a bridge, not a wall. They spent hours talking, the park emptying around them. Nathan asked questions how it felt. What he heard, and Elias answered, raw and honest. Nathan's thoughts were open, unguarded. I want to protect him, no matter what. Elias leaned into him, their shoulders pressed together, the world quieter now. Over the next week, they grew closer, navigating the strange intimacy of Elias's gift. Nathan teased him about hearing his boring CEO thoughts, but his mind was anything but full of warmth, worry, and a growing love that made Elias's heart ache. They went on quiet dates, coffee shops, late-night walks, avoiding the spotlight of Nathan's world. But the world wouldn't stay away. A gossip blog posted a blurry photo from the gala, speculating about Nathan Reed's mystery man. The comments were brutal. Gold digger. He's nobody. Elias read them, his stomach churning, their thoughts louder than words. He'll ruin Nathan. He tried to shrug it off, but the doubts crept in. Nathan noticed. At dinner one night, he reached across the table, his eyes fierce. They don't know you. They don't know us. I'll fight for him. Elias squeezed his hand, wanting to believe it. But the voice of strangers, his own, whispered otherwise. The breaking point came at a Reed Tech event. Elias went to support Nathan. But the crowd's thoughts were a barrage. He doesn't fit. Nathan's slumming it. Jamie was there too, his smirk cutting deep. His thoughts venomous. Elias will crash and burn. Elias excused himself, slipping into a hallway, his chest tight. Nathan found him, his face etched with worry. What's wrong? I can't lose him. Elias broke, the words spilling out how the mind reading amplified every judgment. How he feared dragging Nathan down. Nathan cupped his face, his touch grounding. You're not dragging me anywhere. You're the best thing in my life. I love him. The thought was clear, unshakable, and Elias's walls crumbled. He kissed Nathan, desperate and sure, the voices fading under the weight of their connection. Back at Elias's apartment, they talked until dawn. Elias admitted his fear of love after Jamie, his struggle to trust. Nathan shared his own, how his success came at the cost of real connections. How Elias changed that. Their kisses were soft, then urgent, each one a promise. Nathan's thoughts were a chorus. He's mine, and I'm his. The next day, Elias woke with a plan. He couldn't shut off the mind reading, but he could control how he used it. He started writing, pouring his experiences into a story, his pain, his fears, his hope. Nathan read the drafts, his thoughts proud. He's going to change the world. But trouble loomed. Jamie, bitter and vengeful, leaked a story to the press, twisting Elias's past into a scandal. The headline screamed, CEO's boyfriend tied to fraud. It was a lie, but the thoughts of strangers believed it. I knew he was trouble. Elias's heart sank. But Nathan was a rock. His thoughts fierce. I'll fix this. The headlines burned into Elias's vision, each word a fresh wound. Fraud. Liar. Gold digger. He sat in his apartment, phone buzzing with notifications. The thoughts of strangers a relentless tide. Nathan deserves better. He wanted to scream, to disappear. But Nathan was already there, banging on his door. Let me in. Elias. Nathan called, his voice steady but urgent. He's shutting down. I won't let him. Elias opened the door, his eyes red, and Nathan pulled him into a fierce hug. This is Jamie's doing, Nathan said. I've got my team on it. We'll fix this. Elias shook his head, his voice breaking. It's not just Jamie. It's everyone, their thoughts, their hate. I can't block it out. Nathan's thoughts were a lifeline. I'll protect him, no matter what. But Elias wasn't sure he could be saved. Nathan's team worked fast, tracing the leak to Jamie's fabricated claims. They issued a statement, but the damage was done. Social media exploded, and Elias's mind reading amplified the vitriol. He's a fraud. Nathan's a fool. He stopped going to work, afraid of the stares, the thoughts. Nathan stayed by his side, cooking meals, reading Elias's drafts. His thoughts unwavering. I love him. We'll get through this. One night, Elias broke down. Why are you still here? He asked, voice raw. I'm a mess. You could walk away. Nathan's eyes blazed. Because I love you, Elias. And I'm not going anywhere. He's my home. The words, spoken in thought, shattered Elias's doubts. He kissed Nathan, tears mixing with the warmth of their lips. And for the first time, the voices quieted. They fought back together. Elias returned to the bookstore, ignoring the whispers. Nathan hired a lawyer to sue Jamie for defamation, and the truth slowly emerged. The press shifted. some outlets apologizing. But Elias didn't care about vindication. He cared about Nathan, about the life they were building. Elias's writing became his anchor. He poured the mind-reading, the love, the pain into his story, and Nathan encouraged every word. He's a genius. The thought made Elias smile, even on hard days. He submitted his manuscript to a publisher, nervous but hopeful. One evening, Nathan took him to a quiet rooftop, the city sparkling below. "I have something for you," Nathan said, handing him a small box. Inside was a key to his apartment. "Move in with me," Nathan said, his voice soft. "I want forever with him." Elias's heart soared, but fear lingered. "What if this gift ruins us?" he asked, voice trembling. Nathan smiled, his thoughts clear. "Nothing could ruin us. Then we'll figure it out. Together." The move was chaotic: boxes, arguments over furniture, laughter that filled the gaps. Elias learned to manage the mind-reading, focusing on Nathan's thoughts to drown out the rest. They built a life: movie nights, late talks, stolen kisses. But the world wasn't done with them. A rival CEO, jealous of Nathan's success, dug into Elias's past, threatening to expose the mind-reading as a mental instability. The thought was chilling: they'll lock him away. Nathan's lawyers shut it down, but Elias felt the weight of being a liability. He confronted Nathan one night, voice shaking. "Am I worth this? All this trouble?" Nathan's hands framed his face. "You're worth everything. I'd give it all up for him." Elias kissed him, fierce and sure, the voices fading under the strength of their love. Elias woke to sunlight streaming through Nathan's apartment, their apartment now. Nathan's arm was draped over him, his thoughts a soft hum. "He's here. I'm home." Elias smiled, tracing Nathan's jaw, marveling at how far they'd come. But the world outside their bubble was still sharp, waiting to cut. The publisher's response came that morning: an offer to publish Elias's book. He stared at the email, heart pounding. "They see me." Nathan read it over his shoulder, his thoughts bursting with pride. He did it. My Elias. They celebrated with cheap wine and takeout, laughing until their sides hurt. But the joy was short-lived. The rival CEO's threats escalated, leaking rumors to the press about Elias's instability. "He's dangerous." The thoughts of strangers grew louder, and Elias struggled to shut them out. Nathan's team fought back, but the strain showed in Nathan's eyes. His thoughts heavy. "I can't let them hurt him." Elias decided to take control. He met with a journalist, a kind woman whose thoughts were honest. He deserves to tell his story. He shared his truth, not the mind-reading, but his journey, his love for Nathan, his fight to rise above the lies. The article was a hit, humanizing him, shifting the narrative. He's brave. The public's thoughts softened, and Elias felt lighter. Nathan, meanwhile, faced his own battles. Reed Tekka's board questioned his focus, whispering about Elias as a distraction. He's risking everything. Nathan stood firm, his thoughts resolute. Elias is my future. He proposed a new Projecta mental health app inspired by Elias's struggles, a way to turn pain into purpose. They worked together, Elias offering insights, Nathan coding late into the night. Their apartment became a hub of creativity, littered with notes and coffee cups. Elias's book deal progressed, and he began to see his gift as a strength, not a curse. He could hear Nathan's love, his fears, and it made their bond deeper. One night, Jamie reappeared, cornering Elias outside the bookstore. "You think you've won?" He sneered, his thoughts bitter. He doesn't deserve this. Elias stood tall, his voice steady. "I'm not your punching bag anymore." Nathan arrived, his presence a storm. Leave him alone, he growled. His thoughts fierce. I'll end him if he touches Elias. Jamie backed off, and Elias pulled Nathan close. Their kiss a defiance of the past. The book launch came weeks later. A small event in the bookstore. Nathan stood in the crowd. His thoughts a beacon. I'm so proud of him. Elias read from his novel. His voice steady. The story of love and resilience resonating with the audience. For once, the voices in his head were kind. But the rival CEO struck again, hacking Reed Tech's servers, threatening to leak sensitive data unless Nathan stepped down. They'll destroy us. Elias overheard the thought, his heart sinking. He confronted Nathan, demanding the truth. It's under control, Nathan said, but his thoughts betrayed him. I'm scared. Elias refused to let Nathan face it alone. They worked through the night, tracing the hack, Nathan's team shutting it down. The victory was small but vital, their bond stronger for it. The hack was stopped, but the scars lingered. Elias and Nathan sat in their apartment, the city's glow filtering through the windows. Nathan's hand rested on Elias's, his thoughts quiet but sure. We made it. Elias leaned into him, the mind reading no longer a curse but a thread tying them closer. Elias's book hit shelves, and the response was overwhelming. Readers connected with its raw honesty, and Elias found peace in their thoughts. His story saved me. Nathan's app launched too, a beacon for mental health. Its success a testament to their shared strength. We're changing things, Nathan thought, and Elias smiled, hearing it. One evening, Nathan took Elias to the park, their bench waiting under the street lamp. I've been thinking, Nathan said, his voice soft. He knelt, pulling out a ring. Marry me, Elias. I want forever with you. Elias's breath caught, the world narrowing to Nathan's eyes. His thoughts a chorus of love. He's my everything. Tears stung Elias's eyes as he nodded, pulling Nathan into a kiss, the city fading around them. The voices in his head were silent, drowned by the certainty of their love. They married in a small ceremony, surrounded by friends and family, the bookstore their backdrop. Elias's vows were simple. You saw me when I couldn't see myself. Nathan's were a promise. I'll love you through every storm. Their thoughts intertwined, a perfect harmony. Years later, Elias sat at their kitchen table, writing his second book. Nathan worked nearby, tweaking the app, their life a quiet rhythm of love and purpose. The mind reading never faded, but Elias had mastered it, using it to understand, to connect, to heal. Nathan's thoughts were his favorite. He's my home. Always. They faced new challenges, pressures of fame, the weight of their work, but they faced them together. The accidental kiss that started it all had become a legend they laughed about, a spark that ignited a love stronger than any storm. Elias closed his laptop, looking at Nathan. You ever think about that night? He asked, smiling. Nathan grinned, his thoughts warm. Every day. Best accident of my life. They kissed, soft and sure, their hearts colliding hard, just as they always would.